Hey, dolls. Welcome back to your Royal BFF, the People's Duchess. How's it going? Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are doing well. It's a beautiful day today. Well, not physically, right? I'm in BC and it is a little bit overcast and rainy here. So, not super bad. It's not terribly cold, about 17 degrees, which is, I think, in the 60s for all of our Northern American squatties listening. Yeah, not too bad. Definitely a leg up from the ultra cold, pitiful conditions just last week. Hey, Sharon, welcome to the chat. Happy Sunday. Hope you're well, hun. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, so it's been a minute, right? It's been a minute, and I am so glad to be hanging out with y'all. Oh, man. The last time we were live, we had the beautiful Rhea Morris on the scene. Huge shout out to Rhea. Lots of fun. And I've been considering opening up my lives for a panel. I had been considering this for a while. I do often get these requests for panel discussions, and I would love to explore that format more. Um, I guess I used to just kind of dismiss it because you never know who you were getting the request from, who you're gonna get, what was gonna happen, like, on a live stream. Um, and I have a notoriously slick mouth when it comes to banter with fellow squatties, so my concern was always that, and the next thing you know, start talking crazy or something. But, yeah, no, that was a lot of fun, and I am considering that format. So to everyone who has ever, like, written me or messaged me or DM me to say, like, "Hey, what if you open up a panel topic for this and we discuss that?" I am moving the pieces, and we are weighing options, so stay tuned. Yeah, and y'all, let's get into it because there is so much to get into this lovely afternoon. We have a lot that went down last week. First and foremost, Princess Lilibet Diana has turned 5, and to mark the occasion, her parents released these very sweet pictures on Instagram via Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex's Instagram page. I love this so much. It is so sweet. It is so idyllic, but oh my God, where does the time go? Look how tall she already is. Oh my goodness, she's like half of their length now. So no time soon, we're gonna be talking probably really tall like Harry. I think both of them are probably gonna both of her parents are tall. Like Meghan, for a lady, I think she's 5'7", 5'7" and some change. And then we all know Harry's well over 6 foot, or maybe he's 6'1" or 2, I think. So like she's obviously gonna be tall. Like the kids don't have any choice unless there's some like random gene. Well, that could happen because I'm like the only shorter person in my family. But my mom's short, so I don't know. Genetics are crazy. But oh man, where does the time go? Where does the time go? It feels like it was just yesterday that we welcomed this beautiful redhead bundle of joy into the world. Oh man. And now she's running around and helping mom in the garden and every bit the influencer uh, that she is. Obviously, these pictures went utterly viral. And I actually love how balanced they are with the sharing of their children. In addition to protecting them by not showing us their faces, it's pretty clear that they have this very connected way with their kids. Definitely no formality from what I can tell. There's no protocols, there's no shaking of hands, which is really unique actually, because as two of the most busy people on earth, they travel a whole lot, and it's pretty evident that although they like to travel together and use those opportunities for date nights and stuff like that, it's really clear that um, they don't really leave their kids behind like, I guess, the normal protocol would dictate. Like, normally they'd have nannies and or leave them with Doria, right? But I think that the more and more I see of how they parent, the more I'm convinced that, like, they take the kids along and we just don't know. I think the kids went to Australia. I think they went to Colombia. I think they went to Nigeria even. Well, I we don't know, right? This is all speculation, but I think that they do often carry the kids along, as evidenced by the fact that sometimes we'll see um, Doria like pop up in later pictures, like in the Disneyland pictures. We didn't know that like Doria went with them, but I think that they do carry along Doria and the children a lot of the time because she will act as like someone who can watch over the kids while their parents do their actual engagement, which is a sweet setup. I mean, if that's the case, that is just such a wonderful, wonderful setup. They still get to do their work while not missing that time with the kids. Um, I remember how Harry highlighted that his grandmother gave his father a firm handshake when she got back after 6 months on tour. And I think he learned from that he just didn't want to do things the same way. Harry's always spoken about being a father from a very young age, and those interviews that he used to give when he was really young, and they'd ask him about, his plans and family plans, he'd always said that he wanted to be a husband and a father young, right? And now that he is a husband and a father, I feel like he takes that as his number one role in life. He is so doting, both of them quite doting, obviously, but Harry in particular, you can tell that this is something that he has wanted for so long because he's likely wanted to do things differently and really commit to a family life that was unlike his life. Um, and that's why I don't know, I don't believe this whole saying that, like, hurt people. I've never understood why people would say that because, like, why would you be hurt and then turn around and inflict that also on the next child, knowing how damaging it was for you, knowing what that kind of trauma impacted you with lifelong, like, why would you turn around and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna do the exact same thing to somebody else, to my own kid or maybe somebody else?" Like, I would think, and for me, the logic is if you have been, really traumatized by your childhood experiences, you would think that as an adult, you would make sure that no other child has to go through that. Is that is that flawed logic? Am I thinking incorrectly here? Because that's the way I see it, like, I, in my mind, could never imagine, like, being violent with a kid, like, I could never even picture, like, me, a grown adult, assaulting a child or whatever the type of trauma is that the kid had suffered or that I had suffered, like, if I had suffered that, I couldn't imagine just turning around and doing the same thing, so I think Harry wanted to prove to, like, himself and maybe the powers that be, who knows, that he was just gonna do things a little bit differently. So this is, such a good like family dynamic, and I'm really proud of the Sussexes for how they're handling this. Um, hey gang, good afternoon. Welcome to the chat. Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so I think now that everything is pretty much settling in for them and kind of they've picked up their stride. I think they've obviously really hit their stride. And, for me, Princess Lilibet and Prince Archie have struck pay dirt as far as not only like the genetic lottery, obviously, but who they inherited as parents. There's a lot of discourse right now about kids going no contact. We also covered that topic here on this channel on the Oprah podcast episode. Shout out to Oprah for having that discussion and really bringing that to the forefront in the modern times. It is a huge thing. It always has been a huge thing. Kids have always run away from home to escape difficult family life. They've gotten married as early as possible in their teens just to escape family life, like 15-year-old Marilyn Monroe did, just to escape home. So millions of parents are estranged from their kids or have very like tense relationships with their adult children. If I remember correctly, Oprah said the statistics on that was 1 in 4. 1 in 4 parents are estranged or have a tense relationship with their adult children. And I think that's because people don't really want to be parents. I know kind of a hot take on that, but hear me out. For a long time, life depended on having children to turn around and take care of you as a life insurance policy. That's just how it was. Certainly in the development of the human race and up until quite recently in modern times, there weren't like care homes and stuff for your elderly parents. So the family just had to take care of the parents. They'd often live in multi-generational homes, and, at some point, the parents would become elderly, and they would just be there in the home. The kids would just carry it on until they passed away and all that. People had to have children to pass on the land and what have you. And in the case of royalty, you literally have to have children. It is a matter of constitutional demand. Women in particular, I feel, hide a lot of their feelings about motherhood, because it's taboo to, like, voice the difficulties publicly for whatever reason. It's difficult for mothers, and it's something that, the public has made them feel to be, difficult and not wanna talk about the postpartum struggles, the postpartum depression, and sometimes the postpartum psychosis. Hello, coupled with sleep deprivation and everything else, is expected to be quietly managed, out of the way, out of the public eye, without interfering with any of your other duties as far as taking care of the home and your husband. Like, well, I don't know, women are just encouraged to keep quiet about all of the struggles that they face with motherhood. So you have a significant portion of the population who are simply parents because they just are. They didn't necessarily care about, like, the consequences of their, let's just say, intimate actions, or because society pushed them into parenthood as the next logical progression in life and never really offered women any other choice. And then today, with women being more independent than ever, you're still looking at a society that judges you if you don't have kids, right? I don't have kids, and I'm in my 30s, and people are side-eyeing me at this point. The side eyes are getting stronger, the saxophones are getting louder for sure. Sometimes inappropriately, I'm approached and, "Oh, why don't you have kids? And is there something wrong?" And so forth, and I'm like, "Bro, like, I don't know you. Like, why are you asking me my personal medical history, bro?" Um, no, family will always be in your business in that way, but, like, yeah, I've learned now just to say that, like, I don't want them. That's like a full sentence, like, I don't feel the need to elaborate anymore. I don't need to explain further or be convincing that I just don't. I never have, but I reaffirm that, like, every year. I just don't. And I've learned to just say I don't and leave it at that, um, because there's, like, 1,000 reasons why. And I don't wanna make anyone feel bad or, reassess their life choices because it's beautiful to have them, but it's not for everybody, you know? It's just not for everybody, and who's gonna be, like, the cool auntie if everyone's a mom, you know? We need the cool aunties too. Um, I just maintain that there should be that choice, and children, the family life is quite difficult, much more difficult than it's historically appeared, but thank goodness these children, the Sussex children, were born to these 2. Um, Even without the pictures, just based solely on their testimonies of having wanted kids and the way that they grew up, uh, they're in really good hands. I mean, like, their grandmother is a mental health professional. Their mom grew up with a mental health professional in the home, and their dad grew through therapy and taking it upon himself to be the best version of himself that he could be for his kids. So, if we're talking idyllic childhoods, Princess Lilibet and Prince Archie are living an idyllic childhood. I don't think it gets any better than having a secret garden in your backyard, first of all, and then 2 parents who love you more than life itself, and not just the version of you that's presentable to society or makes them look good to society, but 2 people who thought very conscientiously about bringing 2 kids into this world to have a good life, specifically for the children to have and experience a good life, and not just because that was, like, the thing to do. Um, and they're really good with how they spread their time. Yeah, prioritizing their kids and everything. This picture that they took with, Lilibet for her 5th reminds me of the picture that they took with Archie. The doting pose, the smiling down. I love it so much. It is quite reminiscent, isn't it? Just so cute. Very flirty with each other still, very cute. Just bursting with joy, you know? The family unit makes them happy, and I think you can see that very clearly in not just the pictures, but in the way that they light up when they talk about their kids. Um, really good time. For me, it's just like, man, I try not to think about the alternative, like, if they didn't have this life now, where would they be? I just try not to even imagine. I think there was an article about that that came out last week too, about, like, some lady said something about, like, they are in fact living, like, the idyllic childhood, and she's, like, a royalist. I don't remember what the article was, I don't remember who the lady was, but somebody mentioned, I think on, our Discord that, like, there was an article written about how she was pining pining away. They're always pining or opining, but yeah, something about how, like, this was an idyllic childhood, running around barefoot. I don't know, they say her hair is uncombed, but I don't see this as uncombed, so I'm not sure what anyone is talking about. Like, she's a five-year-old black girl. Like, what five-year-old black girl do you know wants to sit there and get her hair brushed and combed and styled and put into tight ponytails and everything? Like, come on now. And Lilibet's obviously a very sweet, very gregarious kid. She can draw. She has, like, the world at her oyster, and it's really exciting to see her progression and see her getting taller and her hair getting even more fiery in the sunlight. Um, I feel like this is just a bit of speculation here, but Lilibet in particular is such a fashionably inclined toddler. Is 5 toddling? That's still toddling, or is that something else? I don't know. She's a five-year-old child who has this massive amount of influence in kids' fashion, obviously via her mother, but you guys know five-year-olds at that age, they start getting a little independent, they wanna pick out what they wear, they wanna pick out their clothes, they wanna pick out how they style themselves, and I think that that's what we're seeing here. Like, she has really good taste for a child. This is a repeat dress from Cult Gaia Kids. It's the Lolita dress in Light Honeydew. This is the same dress that she wore in the earlier promos for Megan's As Ever and High Camp Gardenia's collaboration. Such a sweet video that she made running around, helping her mom do the flower arrangements. This dress instantly sold out, obviously, the first time around, and I'm not sure that they've restocked, but when I checked yesterday, it was still sold out. Um, and y'all know me. I'm like, team, we don't see the kids until 18 because I respect their privacy. But I'm actually really glad that we do get these glimpses into their lives because you can also make a case that, like, this is building a really strong foundation for their future. If Princess Lilibet does decide to go into fashion, she will have such a strong foundation for that, like, insanely strong foundation. She has an uncle Pier Paolo, for goodness sake. So, this was, like, really, really good, and imagine the influence, you know, that could be generated and the good that she could do in the fashion and beauty industries. I remember Megan once talking about the TIG, she mentioned how she wrote about beauty in such a way that she was trying to get people to see it from a different perspective and qualify inner beauty as, um as viable and as valid as outer beauty. So if you read her beauty articles on the TIG, what she wears on the set of Suits and how she likes to do her makeup, which is very low key when she's not on the set, just a little concealer, a little blush, a little mascara and lip gloss, and she's out the door. But like she always has talked about being beautiful from the inside, being just enough as you are. So imagine that going into the mind of a little girl who dreams of like fashion and beauty. Imagine what she can open up for the next generation of kids as far as like the confidence thing, the self-esteem thing, the way that women and girls are marketed to could ultimately and radically change if a Princess Lilibet were to get involved with the next generation and kinda help her mom shift those ideals. So it's all really exciting. It's all just quite exciting. I know I tend to, like, read into things and see things like the big picture and several, moves ahead, but that's what we're talking about here. You can already see it. It's quite undeniable that Princess Lilibet and her mother together are a very powerful duo, specifically because women and girls are more inclined as far as influencing they're more inclined to influence in the fashion and beauty industries than men are, right? So this could be a huge, huge, huge thing. Princess Lilibet's numbers are already kind of crazy, like, hello. Um, Her style, whenever she wears something like this Cult Gaia dress, for example, it also spikes the website, it also spikes the search engines, it also creates this massive demand and interest. She also sells out things. She's been selling things out since she was pretty much born. Like, I remember I remember the swaddle blankets that Archie and Lilibet were both wrapped in also is, like, sold out. Like, the j basically since she was born, right? She came into this earth an influencer. One of the first things I remember selling out was the Village Baby eyelet bow headband and that blue Isabelle Guerraton dress that she wore for her first birthday photo right there at the lawn on Frogmore. And, that went ultra, ultra, ultra viral, and then I remember the owners, right? It's a small women-owned business. They were in tears. They were in tears. They were just like, "Wow, I don't even know what to say." So, oftentimes, like, the impact is life-changing. There's another brand that Megan had worn on the Drew Barrymore show, and it was like this bracelet brand, and it went instantly viral as well and also changed the life of that particular designer. I forget what the designer's name is. Oh, Valencia Key. Valencia Key was the name of that lady. She saw like a sales surge of like 11,000%. She was also in tears after Megan turned up in one of her bracelets to the Drew Barrymore show. So a single bracelet worn for just that little bit of time while she was on the Drew Barrymore show caused a life-changing exposure. Same with um, Outland denim when she wore them in Australia. Same with a lot of brands that have come out and said, "This has been life-changing for me." So I think that Princess Lilibet carrying on that tradition is going to have such a massive impact. Economists are all already, like, evaluating that lifetime impact surpassing 1,000,000,000 easily, in my opinion, very easily. She's going to surpass the 1,000,000,000 mark in influence, especially if she becomes maybe even a designer. Like, the world is her oyster, and I don't think that they have those limitations on them as far as what career field they can go into. Harry and Meghan seem like the kind of parents who would allow them to choose, not impose, their own will or desire or what they think their kids should do. I'm fully thinking that, like, they're going to be able to do what they are passionate about, and if it's fashion or anything in the arts, it's over. It's pretty much over for that industry. Um, it's been nice, and so this is a phenomena where Lily's, fashion influence mirrors the documented, fashion influence of the Meghan effect. Um, so whether it's like independent label, boutique label, it has historically triggered that immediate inventory and like massive brand exposure. So I like it, and I like, again, the appearance I think is great. The little flower child appearance, the dress, the hair. I feel like the hair is the best part. The hair is the best part. The hair confirms that she is living a childhood, in my opinion. It's wonderful news for the autonomy of this child, which yeah, they even have to acknowledge that, like, "No, no, 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 this is good. Barefoot child without their hair combed is very good." And again, I do not know what they're talking about. This is beautiful. She looks absolutely lovely, absolutely perfect for a little girl. Um, and y'all really showed out. I'm really proud of y'all for showing out. As far as the fundraiser is concerned, there have been squatties that just surprised me, really. There have been some squatties that have just surprised me. I don't know why I'm still surprised. Like, I should know by now that, like, it's not a thing. It's, like, not a thing for the squad. Over $20,000 raised for Princess Lily's 5th birthday and more than 2,000,000 in total raised by the squad today. Y'all rock. Like, I I mean, I'm just astounded, like, it's so surreal to, like, see the numbers and get the data and look at the donations year after year after year, and this is only, what, 6 years in? $2,000,000 raised in 6 years is crazy. But, yeah, I mean, I guess I expected nothing less from the squad. Y'all are so amazing. You stepped in to continue supporting the Uvalde community, which has just been so touching. You continue to support those kids in the wake of that tragedy, and it's really touching. Y'all continue to support CAMFED and girls' educations. It's so touching, and I am so honored to be a part of this community that cares so much. And I don't even wanna know what the numbers are as far as, like, the things that we've purchased from them, like, those as ever numbers have to be insane, and the amount of support for the brands, like, the way you guys go out and buy everything that Megan and Lilibet wear is I would love to see the data on that. I might just do a deep dive on that because, man, I'm always so excited for Megan's closet, but I need to see some of y'all closet, the way y'all be purchasing all of her, the things, the fashion, and I need to see what y'all looking like and what your closets are looking like, because I can already tell you guys are as stylish as you are generous. I mean, we're really an unstoppable force when we get together and unify. So I'm really proud of you guys and kudos. Kudos once again to Princess Lilibet for being a lovely young lady, and I hope that your birthday was spent doing all the best things that you love with plenty of lemon elderberry cake and sweets. Um, so this week has also been a really big week for As Ever. We have a new drop that is so clean. This Matchbox set with the candles is such a brilliant, brilliant drop. The matches are a beautiful accompaniment to the candles. It makes tons of sense, of course. I ordered my box. I ordered 2 boxes, and I had to do a little bit of a workaround to get them here to Canada. So I will have my mom or my sister send it to me once they've received it, and that's just kinda taking some time because they're both on vacation right now in Turks and Caicos. But yeah, these are beautiful, Your Highness. I love the continuation of this colorway. It's like this periwinkle colorway, and it's a continuation of her Mother's Day aesthetic, this very beautiful, soft, kind of calming aesthetic. I wouldn't be surprised either to learn that Megan researched this color and developed this color with, like, scientists and psychologists that told her that the color is very calming. Um, I just wouldn't be surprised because whenever I look at this, I immediately feel relaxed, I feel calm, um, And half of that is just the aesthetic itself, like the overall aesthetic of calm and luxury and quiet. But the color specifically, I love this periwinkle color. It always puts me in a good mood. It's just gorgeous. And we're all still recovering, from those ads that she dropped prior, where she updated her profile picture on her Instagram to this gorgeous, gorgeous picture of her, lounging around with a cup of tea. I'm still gagged. We're all still gagged. She looked utterly beautiful, and these releases are so highly anticipated. I can only imagine, like, what she's gearing up for next. Um, so if you guys remember when we started this whole, like, "Oh, what are you gonna drop next?" kind of guessing game, I said it was going to be an alcohol, um, a collaboration pot set with Le Creuset, and stemware, like dishware stemware. So we have gotten the wine, we have gotten the alcohol, and we're still holding out hope for the Le Creuset collab and perhaps a line of stemware. All of these are still very much in play, but I think that releasing these accompaniments for her main hero products is just a stroke of genius. Smart business move. I fully expect to see that stemware to go with the wines and the brut. We already have the matches now to go with the candles. I think pretty soon here we're gonna start getting like honey dippers because I see that she sent the notorious JTB a box that included this wooden honey dipper. So I believe that the honey dipper is next down the pipeline. I mean, obviously she sells honey, so it would make very logical sense to do that. I'm still putting out there that the vase is also in the pipeline. I am going to probably spontaneously combust when she finally does release that vase. Um, Hey, Joseph. Happy Sunday and welcome to the chat. Yeah, Megan keeps the fires burning. She sure does. This is so gorgeous, you guys. This is so gorgeous. Like, if you have checked out her, website recently, like, the drops are beautiful, but the marketing, the setup is also so gorgeous. I love this tablescape. I love what she did with the yellow pop of color. I love the lemon theme, the honeys, all of it works so well. I love when she does minimalist, but I love when she does maximalist. I love when she does avant-garde. I love when she does the outside of the box stuff. This is just a beautiful setup. Um, and she has her work cut out for her, for sure. It's a tough industry to break into, and I, again, think that the success of As Ever is due largely to the quality of the products, largely. I think 90% of As Ever's success is the quality, and I know that's generous because Megan's clout goes a long way, but that's how good the products are. Even if you took Princess Megan's name off of it, these would be products that were taste tested and win those taste tests. They would still have won the taste tests, because those were blind taste tests. They didn't know whose product was which. So the products I think are so good, and then, like, the 10% is the marketing and the brand itself. And again, people would probably flip that to being 90% Megan and 10% product, but I think the opposite is true. Her influence carries, but those products stand on business. The jams stand on business. I've been told that the wines are incredible. I can't say that for myself. The one experience I had was not great, but that's because my body rejects alcohol, so it's not her fault. Um, it's wonderful that she has made such a great product, so that's what the success of these products is really about. Um Yeah, Joseph, she does have the Midas touch. My wife fell in love with the fruit spreads I gifted her with. Anyone who tastes those jams are going to fall in love with the jams. They win the taste test because they're so good. Y'all know I have developed a full-blown orange marmalade addiction at this point, and I'm not ashamed of it, you know? I'm not gonna seek help or anything until it gets to a point, right? But no. I'll be completely honest. I'm an orange marmalade junkie. So yeah, it's you can't not like it. I have not met anyone who doesn't like those fruit spreads. Again, the rest of the stuff too, the honey. I had one squatty tell us about how she had a cold, like a really bad cold, and she took her husband fixed her the peppermint tea with the sage honey, and she was up and running in no time. And obviously, you can't market your honey and tea as medicinal, but sage honey and peppermint tea have those antimicrobial, bacteria fighting properties naturally, just observed in science, right? Sage is very antimicrobial, peppermint, and those are all things that honey as well, those are all things that have scientific value in the medicinal sense. So she put those 2 together and she was feeling great. So Megan's products they're not just, like, super tasty, but, like, they're also quite healing. I find them very, healing and very, like, comforting. You know, her teas I'm a hibiscus tea girly myself. I'm not, like, super into peppermint, but I am going to take your word for it. The peppermint tea is also banging. Um, it's like I don't know. I don't like minty stuff, I guess. I don't like peppermint in general. I don't like peppermint candy canes. I don't like anything that's pepperminty, but maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it because I am a holistic girly. I tend not to do medicine, like traditional medicine. I have always been like a tea drinker, someone who reaches for a holistic product before I reach for a bottle of anything, you know? So yeah, I mean, I feel like Megan is really she has a really good handle on this, right? And I feel like her team does inform her of, like, who the players are. They had to have sent the JTB to have sent JTB a box. They had to have informed her and know who she is, and especially who the squad is and what we're up to, and particularly when it comes to, like, fundraisers and the things that we do in honor of her kids' birthdays or her birthday or whatever, um, event or moment that she's highlighting. I feel like Megan is very abreast of all that and has always been. Um, and I think that the way that she tailors her marketing is based on that qualitative feedback that she receives from us as well. And if you haven't already watched, Legacy and Bloom, Megan's Timeline of Influence, I highly advise for you to watch it. I we did that, oh, I don't remember, I think that was, like, a couple weeks ago. The chronology of Megan's influence developing and growing over the years is so inspiring. The evolution from the Tig to As Ever is so inspiring. So definitely check that out. It kinda gives you the whole backstory, on this, and I point that out because there's one interaction in particular that lets me know that Megan is very aware of, like, the fan feedback and what we're asking for and looking for as far as these as ever drops. Y'all remember this moment with Emily? Emily, I think her last name is Sorrells, if I'm not mistaken. She's, one of the founding Tiglets, which is the TIG's original fan base, and at this AOL Build chat back in 2016, she wrote, Meghan, that is, then Meghan Markle, from Suits, wrote the fan letter, um well, sorry, no, she wrote to Meghan on Twitter, and then Meghan wrote her a letter to take with her to Costa Rica because the Emily had told Megan that she was going to Costa Rica based on being inspired by her work with the UN. So, this interaction, it was really sweet, it was really a moment, but it also confirms that Megan has always been someone who cares deeply about her fans, about the people that interact with her and, you know, um, give her flowers, so to speak, like JTV does, like we all do. She's always quite cognizant of that. So for me, I think that she will take our interactions with her as far as, like, the feedback that she gets on her posts, because you can still send messages. I don't know how often, she sees them, but you can send a message on her Instagram stories, right, directly to the As Ever team. So, I think I pretty much always say, like, "Hey, this is so beautiful, but when are we getting the vase?" No, I've asked after the vase, I think, once, and that was, like, the first candle drop. I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful. It's like a miniature version of the vase." Kinda, hintity hint, hint, hint. Like, "Drop the vase, please." Um, but no, I'm holding out hope, and it's based on the fact that I know that Megan listens to her fans, and she cares deeply about us, and she always will, and we will always care quite deeply about her. Yeah, and then there was that time during COVID too, very difficult time, and then she came out, like, directly after I believe it was the CamFed fundraiser on Twitter that we had that time, and not only matched the donation that we raised or matched the funds that we raised, but also called, like, the organizer. I think she personally called the organizer of that CamFed. So yeah, of that CamFed fundraiser. So, yeah, she's aware. She's very much aware. She will always have her hand on, like, the pulse of things, but she's like me, she protects her peace. I don't know how much of that social media stuff that she actually, like, listens to versus her team. She probably has a lot of safeguards in place, a lot of names and words blocked for when she goes on social media herself or goes online at all. And it's so funny because speaking of protecting her peace, man, I was chatting with, uh, on Instagram, right? I was DMing on Instagram, and one of the messages was hidden, and I never knew that if you have, like, a blocked word or whatever, that it will hide the entire message. Like, that has never happened to me in an Instagram DM before. So we're just chatting, and, the message is hidden, and I'm like, "Well, why is the message hidden? Why does it say that those hidden words? Like, what's going on?" And they were like, "You wouldn't happen to have the Princess of Wales or Kate's name blocked, would you?" 'Cause she had mentioned her in the chat, and I was like, yeah, guilty." I have, like, all of the royals blocked. I have all of their titles and words associated with them completely blocked across all of my social medias because the way my mental health is set up, I just don't wanna hear it. I don't wanna hear it. I'm not a fan. I don't want anyone introducing any shenanigans or nonsense into my life that is unnecessary. So, of course, I've taken the time to, go across my socials and block all of them. Um, and I also use this search engine called DuckDuckGo. Highly recommend, highly recommend. It doesn't track your browser movement, like, it safeguards your privacy, and best of all, you can block websites from your search results, from any search results. So, I have, like, the Daily Fail and all of those websites, all of those tabloid websites blocked. And I only use DuckDuckGo now because of that, so I don't how it is on Google, like, if you search even on Safari, like, even if you're on just, like, a regular search engine on Safari or Google, you Google Megan's name and you just have to bear for the worst, brace for the worst. It always gives you the negative stuff first, so I got tired of that, and I found this search engine called DuckDuckGo, and I would never go back. Um, but yeah, no, 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 this was a beautiful, elegant, lovely drop, absolutely stunning. I went over the website recently, and it is just so beautiful. She's added so many beautiful, elegant little touches. Some of my favorite thing are the little floral details. the delicate little floral touches, and she has that, otherwise minimalistic aesthetic. I'm obsessed with this As Ever logo wax melt that has this very 3D realistic look as if it's on an envelope. I feel like we're gonna get one of these someday because if you look at the way, like, her calligraphy is a big part of the website. She writes here, "You're beautiful, full stop." Like, these kind of inspirational things lead me to believe that, like, we're probably gonna get maybe a journal sometime, maybe something with these prints and the ability to seal letters with this wax melt stamp thing. Like, it's so elegant. It is so elegant and refined. I wouldn't be surprised at all if this were an Easter egg all in our face the whole time, and then she just boom drops it. We're like, "Oh my god, we've been admiring this on the website forever. Thank you so much for dropping it." I'm just obsessed. It's quite clever. I think this is a cute little feature on her website, but honestly, I think it is probably alluding to some sort of stationary drop somewhere down the line. She just does everything so beautifully, even when it's not minimalist, even when she's doing full maximalist, like this particular candle drop, she has this gorgeous picture here with these beautiful deep burgundy flowers, which surprised me because her aesthetic is usually a lot brighter, and more like spring and minimalist, but this heavy burgundy blood red almost floral arrangement, it was surprising, it was refreshingly surprising, a little bit of a departure, kind of reminiscent of her Christmas drop, where she was doing a lot of the burgundies and rich, like, burnt sienna and stuff like that. There was a whole aesthetic, but that was fall, and those were the fall colors. So mixing fall colors with this kind of like springtime blue aesthetic of the Matchbox, it's beautiful. It just works so beautifully. Um, okay, so we also had Prince Harry making headlines this week. He went to support his friend, Chef Andres, for his new book opening. Can we get into how great Prince Harry's been looking lately? Not only in Princess Lilibet's 5th birthday pictures, but the family is looking amazing. He probably won, like, a game of rock, paper, scissors to go and support Chef Andres, at his new cookbook launch Wednesday, um, at his restaurant, San Laurel, at the Conrad Los Angeles Hotel with guests including Maria Shriver and Wolfgang Puck. The book is called Spain My Way: Eating Dr wait, Eat, Drink can't read all of a sudden. Eat, drink, and cook like a Spaniard. So, this is a lovely book. Obviously, Chef Andres is a massive internationally renowned chef. Um, it's described as a lively collection of Jose Andres's most beloved recipes from his home country. It's bright, it's vivid, and it's already a New York Times bestseller. So this event is one that either of the Sussexes could have attended. Naturally, they both have this, like, really good relationship with Chef Andres, so I believe that they played rock, paper, scissors for it, and whoever won got to go to the event. And Harry looked so good, and whatever this material is, I wanna say it's denim? I was just saying that, like, it could be so much worse. I could be so much worse off. I could be Prince Andrew right now, who is apparently getting turned every which way but loose. Um, Y'all, not that it's funny, right? I'm not laughing just to laugh. Um, there wasn't a whole lot of context to this picture. He was going somewhere. He was pictured papped going somewhere from his home at Wood Farm, and I don't know about you, but that is clearly a bit of a shiner to me. I'm looking and seeing a bruise, possibly a bruise as a result of violence. We don't know. And I don't believe it was from him, like, falling off a horse or anything either. Somebody is turning this man every which way but loose. And I don't wanna hear any palace explanation or palace source explanation as to what is going on here. I don't wanna hear any, like, made up scenario about what's going on. It looks like he might have just narrowly missed it, connecting to the bridge of his eye or his nose and, like, turned his head, tried to back up maybe, and they clocked him right there on the cheek. Um, and if I have this correctly, right, if the picture isn't mirrored, it means that whoever delivered this devastating 1-2 was left-handed. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any left-handed men or women in Andrew's life that could have done this to him, but I am saying that we know at least one left-handed person in Andrew's life that could have done this to him, one who is notoriously violent and will, in fact, put his hands on you or in your face. And the only reason I don't immediately think William is because there are so many people who hate this man, including his own staff. Plenty of his staff have refused to work with him, walked out, have come, in public to recall how terrible Andrew was to them. They've written books, they've done interviews, they've done documentaries, they've put all his business out there about the brutal treatment. Not just from him, but from his brother, from his nephew, from a bunch of other people in that family. They're routinely described as petulant and entitled. And yeah, violent. So I don't know what's, going on with Andrew here, and I don't actually care about whoever's over there committing this elder abuse, but yeah, it's crazy, it's shocking, to say the least. And this is probably also another sympathy grab. We discussed this a couple weeks ago with Princess Beatrice, in my opinion, falling on her sword and also attempting to get some sympathy by hopping into that Kia tricycle Uber. This may very well be another ploy to obtain sympathy from the public. Like, "Oh, look, I'm hurt. Oh, don't jump down my throat. I'm hurt. I'm elderly. I'm feeble. Ah, look, I'm harmless." You're not harmless, Andrew. If you weren't under the intense scrutiny and probably police eye that you're currently under, investigative eye, um, you'd be partying it up right now on that island, carrying on, business as usual. Had your bestie Jeffrey not made all the mistakes that he made and gotten himself caught over and over again, y'all would still be out there whoring around the way you were. You're not harmless. You're not feeble. You're simply not capable. There went my mic. Um, I don't know. I keep the cable is coming out the back. Oh, anyways, yeah. No, no, no. You're just you're still the same deviant, dangerous person. You The only thing that has changed is that you lack the resources. You just lack the resources to continue with that behavior. But if you had those things in place, you'd still have the cover of the royals, and the funding from the royals and your pal Jeffrey there. You would still very much be trafficking and harming if y'all hadn't gotten caught, if your house of cards hadn't collapsed around you. So, no, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for you. I don't condone violence, except when it's necessary, except when it's necessary. I don't condone violence against children, but adults, and when necessary, it looked like you were running your mouth. It looked like you were running your mouth there, Andrew. Knowing you, you probably ran your mouth off one too many times or probably found the right one on the right day. And honestly, I hope whatever's happening to you happens to you tenfold. I hope whatever's happening to you starts happening to you in your sleep as well, so that you don't know a moment of peace, whether you're awake or resting. And it's a shame. It's a shame because his daughters looked amazing at Peter Phillips's wedding last week, which was also a very big deal. Very big deal. Congratulations to the couple. This is Peter's 2nd marriage. He was originally married to Autumn Phillips. Long story short, now he's married to Harriet Sperling. She's an NHS nurse, which I guess isn't too lowbrow for the royals, apparently. Uh, this looked like a perfectly lovely ceremony. I'm really feeling the bride's dress. I like this classic silhouette with the lace, very demure. I like the neckline. There was, of course, the traditional row and stories about Tiara Gate. Would she or wouldn't she wear a tiara? Would she or wouldn't she wear a veil? Would she or wouldn't she wear a white? All the same nonsense. They're both divorcees. So, of course, that means that only the woman gets scrutinized on every fashion choice and penalized for having been married before. No one said boo about Peter. So, I mean, I guess. Um, the wedding took place on June 6th at All Saints Church in Gloucester, and everyone turned up looking pretty good, pretty good. Princess Eugenie is expecting, so she just came looking quite comfortable. Everyone came a bit matchy-matchy, which is surprising to me that that trend has really, really taken hold. Like, when have you ever seen the king and Camilla go matchy-matchy? Until Harry and Meghan came along, when have you ever seen these 2 match each other? I mean, it's the colonization for me. No, they looked okay, I guess, but, imitation sure is the highest form of flattery, child, because even Edo and Eugenie and Jack and Eugenie wait, sorry, Edo and Beatrice, Jack and Eugenie, they all did the bit of matchy-matchy thing. They all kinda did the cummerbund matching to the piece on the wife thing, and it's like, okay, so that's just standard protocol now? Harry and Meghan have made it to where it is just standard protocol to match your husband's attire with your wife's attire? Like, come on now, you can't tell me that that's not influence. Because wasn't nobody doing this. Wasn't nobody doing this beforehand. And you know what? I'm gonna say something quite controversial here, but Camilla doesn't look terrible. She doesn't look terrible. She actually looks human, I guess. The most I can say is she doesn't look like a demonic figure here. She is actually looking quite human, quite, passable as non-reptilian in this picture. And Charles doesn't look bad either. I mean, for all the health scares that he's gone through recently, he looks flushed in the face, nice and healthy. He doesn't look like he's, gaunt or anything like that. So, I'm surprised. Kinda surprised. Um, It's just so funny to me that y'all could just colonize in broad daylight. You will denigrate and denigrate and denigrate, and the next thing you know, quietly slip into the exact same thing that you were just denigrating. It's only ghetto until a Kardashian wears it on the cover of Vogue. It's only breaking protocol if a Black woman is doing it. Once a Black woman is not doing it, it's no longer breaking protocol. It's no longer tacky. It's no longer whatever. Like, what is this? Didn't y'all say that this was mushy and whatever they were saying about how Harry and Meghan used to match? I guess. If you say so, like the influence, man, it just cannot be denied. It cannot be denied at this point. But yeah, no, the bride and the groom looked very happy. I do wonder what this bit of white was on the tiara. I think it looks like it's like a piece of paper that was folded over the tiara. I don't if you guys know about that, like, let me know. I was trying to find, like, where the explanation of this little bit of white on the tiara there. But otherwise, I mean, again, dress was stunning, veil was stunning, really good looking, well, for the royals, I guess. I'm sorry. I hate to say it because I don't like to judge people on their looks, but historically, not an attractive family, not an attractive family. So I'm shocked to see that they're injecting just a little bit of like good looks into it. But yeah, it was a perfectly lovely ceremony. Apparently, the Prince and Princess of Wales also attended, and she wore another side-eyeingly cream-colored dress that, out of respect for the bride, I will not be broadcasting, but, I'm sure you've all seen it by now, and it was a dress, and the color, some have said should have been a little bit darker or a different color altogether. Just I don't know, I can't even put into words how, like, tacky and despicable it is to wear any shade in the white color wheel to another woman's wedding unless that was specifically designated. I know some brides will say, "Wear white." Everybody should wear white. All the guests wear white, and that's a theme, right? An all-white wedding is one thing, but randomly wearing any color, even remotely close to the bride, is not it. And if it were going to be like a soft pastel, I think this is how you do that. This is clearly a primrose yellow. Like, this is that primrose yellow they were trying to convince us that Kate's dress was back in Meghan's wedding. I think the only reason she didn't wear a different color was because people would then point out like, "Oh, see how you can wear normal colors to someone's wedding? You see how you don't have to wear white?" So she was probably thinking in her mind like, "Man, let me just wear something similar so that people don't accuse me of singling Meghan out and wearing white to her wedding only." Which I think that that's probably the case because y'all know how she thinks. She is obsessed with what people think about her. She only does things for viewership. She only does things performatively. She does not do things that she's not gonna get praised for. She doesn't do things behind closed doors. She's not a behind the scenes type of person. So I don't think that there was any more thought process other than I'm just gonna repeat wearing a light colored dress so that people can't say that I singled anyone out at their wedding, which is nonsensical at best. Anyways, that's going to wrap things up for this lovely Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. Big shout out to our chat. Love y'all down. Shout out to the members. Thank you for holding my channel down. Thank you for being a friend. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Join the membership. We have a lot of fun in members only. Buy me a coffee if you're so inclined and want to support the channel. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, guys. Please take care of yourselves. And until next time, Bye for now.